Hello, hi, and hey, how's it going, everyone, and anyone who comes by my little video. Name's Headless Otaku. I'd like to thank you for stopping on by. I'd like to ask that you take a seat, get comfortable, and hopefully you'd like to listen to what I have to say. Because on July 1st, the online anime community made a big discovery that Crunchyroll had removed the original RWBY series off of its roster of shows to watch. Of course, the series first appeared on the streaming service back on August 2013, only a few months after its release on its home website on July 2013. Because of that reason, fans were fearful that Rooster Teeth, the studio behind the series, had finally shut its doors for good, and thus putting the nail in the coffin of RWBY's future. However, that wasn't the case just yet. You see, the owners of the studio, RWBY Discovery, had been in several talks with other studios to sell the once beloved series and Rooster Teeth as a whole for the past few years now. Clearly though, those conversations went nowhere fast. Fans at the time were even clutching it onto any bit of news that spoke of the acquisition of RWBY as though it was a royal decree spoken to them by God themselves. But as to why Crunchyroll would remove RWBY from its list of series, I and a few others suspect that Crunchyroll didn't want to renew the licensing agreement for RWBY, ending its long run on the streaming giant. And in all honesty, that makes sense. Even though the fandom wasn't as big as, let's say, like that of Naruto, One Piece, Dragon Ball Z, it was pretty popular. Like, it was blowing up in culture. RWBY was so big, like, of course you had merchandise for the series everywhere. You had merchandise being sold in local stores like Walmart. You had big franchises like carrying the clothing for Walmart, Hot Topic. You could see it at Target, things like that. The clothing, you could buy like RWBY Funkos and all that stuff everywhere. And then of course you had it being showcased in other forms of media that are being like video games. You had BlazBlue Cross Tag, which actually featured RWBY inside of it. You had RWBY become skins in games like Paladins and Smite. Heck, there were even several games on the PlayStation and Nintendo Switch respectively. RWBY Grim Eclipse and RWBY Arrowfell. There's even a new other series on Crunchyroll called RWBY and the Ice Queendom. Whole new anime. Continuing, like, I guess, like, I wouldn't say it's probably like I don't know if it's canon or if it's just like a segmented story split out from the actual main story of the plot of the actual series. So with all that going for RWBY, why exactly am I saying it just made sense for Crunchyroll not to renew the license with WB Discovery? And to me, it's because, well, RWBY just isn't. It's not as popular as it once was. It's not as profitable as it once was. Everyone who's been part of the RWBY fandom at some point in time can probably tell you at one point or another that the actual fandom, while not as big as those other things I mentioned, was still pretty large enough to kind of make a difference for the viewership. But now the actual fandom has dwindled dramatically. Like, the amount of people that are there actively like engaging in RWBY content, either online, like things like Reddit or Twitter or Tumblr, or artists drawing things for them, is not as big as it once was. And that's because over the years, many people started to like really react to RWBY in more of a negative light. More critics started to come out that were once fans from like volumes 1 through 3. Because I feel like from what I've looked into, like that's kind of like the jumping off point for some people, like the difference between volumes 1, 3 to everything else. It seems like RWBY had a very strong start, and then a lackluster middle, and now nearing its finish. What I'm assuming is going to be finished, because I'm pretty sure, like, I think volume 10 is going to be like the closer, maybe, I don't know. But it seems like it's getting close to finishing. But like everything from that point on has just been lackluster to people, to either like mediocre or just bad. And the fandom clearly shows that with how divided it has been on like places like Reddit, with the arguments that have been put forth. Of like, either is the criticism legitimate, is it not, or the people just saying things because they just like hate on it because of like the actual characters, blah blah blah, things like that, right? I don't think that at that point that's relevant. But what is truly factual is the fact that the RWBY fandom has been divided for a while. People have left the fandom to and more people who once fans are content creators on YouTube who have made like videos describing their frustrations with the series. Hell, this is probably one of the best examples. Charlie, Moist Critical, like a year back, he made a video talking about his grievances with the show, because he just didn't understand it.
Like, the only reason I tuned into it again recently is because of all the homophobic RWBY memes. Had me giggling a bit, so I wanted to check it out to see, like, okay, what is this show about? I don't get it. It actually feels like it is written by a 9-year-old. And the animation is so bad.
And that one video he made talking about it spiked like so many people to comment on his Twitter, just saying like, man, Charlie, I love you, bro, but this ain't it, man, this ain't it. And I'm being very mild with it, but some of the things got a lot more heated. But yeah, it wasn't just like that. I know H-Bomber Guy, he made a video talking about what his grievances with the actual series. You have a content creator like Hiro Hey, who is notorious at this point for basically making videos on RWBY. But yeah, so that's kind of like what I'm saying is it's just not as what it's kind of a shell of its former self. With all that being said, I didn't have much faith for the show going forward. Volume 9 was released back in 2019 and with low receptions. People weren't tuning in, and the ones that did either disliked what they saw and left, or were too far down the rabbit hole's butt crack. They didn't care about the actual quality of what they were watching. Whatever the case was, it basically put Volume 10 on indefinite hiatus. Fans were still holding out hope, and for good reason, because while I was busy working on this video a lot longer than I wanted to, I might add you, something interesting happened that caught me completely by surprise. On July 5th, co-creator of RWBY, Carrie Shawcross, and Barbara Dunkelman, the voice actress who plays Yang for the series, announced that RWBY has a new home with Viz Media. And if you don't know who Viz Media is, it's kind of shocking if you're in anime, but basically they're a production company that handles publishing, manga, distribution, and licensing for anime, and like I said, manga. Some of the things they've probably worked on that you would know off the back is things like Naruto, Bleach, My Hero. So they're basically have been the reason why many of that stuff has come to the West, at least in the early days. But here's the article. RWBY finds a new home. Viz welcomes the beloved show that fold. Watch a special message to learn more. That sentence is strange to me. But yeah, so basically this is the video. It says, welcome RWBY to Viz Media. And it says, the new adventures awaits RWBY. RWBY, Weiss, Blake, and Yang aren't finished just yet. We're excited to announce that RWBY is joining the Viz roster of global anime and manga hits. We're grateful that Rooster Teeth team entrusting us with RWBY, and we are excited to carry forward the legacy of the series. RWBY the franchise is not new to Viz. We first partnered with Rooster Teeth in 2016, announcing a publishing partnership to develop the manga series by fame of Makara Shinmiwa. I'm hoping I pronounced that right. I doubt if I did. From there, Viz deepened their ties with the brand by releasing the series' acclaimed RWBY manga titles, as well as the beloved World of RWBY compilated book. So Viz has been been partnering up with Rooster Teeth since almost Get. And they actually have a small FAQ answering some of the actual questions. However, this is where I kind of want to put a preface here. RWBY was picked up by Miz. That's awesome for the fans. I'm glad that they have something to look forward to. However, I don't think many what I want to preface is the fact that yes, it was picked up by Viz, but that doesn't mean you're going to be getting RWBY content right away. Like, you should probably just put a pin on that and say RWBY, we will get RWBY content eventually, because even they say it here. What does Viz have planned for the RWBY for the future of RWBY? Viz is exploring the production of new chapters in the RWBY saga, and we will make announcements as soon as we can. Has RWBY Volume 10 officially been confirmed? There's no news yet on the new season of RWBY. Please follow the official RWBY account on X and Facebook page for latest updates. Will Viz use former production team members for the future? Carrie Shawcross, series showrunner and co-creator, will be involved with the next phase. Again, just from those three questions that they put into this actual article, you can clearly see that they're not exactly sure what they're doing. I'm pretty sure they have a plan. They definitely have something they probably wrote down on like a little sticky note saying like, this is what we want to do. Now, what is realistic for us to do within the time frame of like, let's say 5 years. So that's probably where they're going now. And here's probably one of the more bigger ones, because this is the whole video was talking about from the beginning. Crunchyroll taking off RWBY from its series, and now we know why. Because yes, the licensing ended for Crunchyroll, and thus Viz picked it up. But because of that, the volumes of all the entire series was taken down. And this isn't the first time this happened. RWBY was able to be accessed on things like Netflix, and I believe for a time Hulu. I can't remember. No, maybe it was Amazon. I think it was Amazon. I think you could still see certain volumes on Amazon, and of course you can pick up the box sets, DVDs that Rooster Teeth distribute out. But overall, I'm pretty sure you can't watch it fully on Amazon. I think they're split up in the volumes. But here's the question asked: where will RWBY volumes 1 through 9 be available to watch? And they answered, stay tuned for updates on where to watch. Viz is exploring a wider distributions for the series, including home video releases, additional streaming platform releases, and more. I think we can put a better timeline on that one than anything new coming to the series, outside of maybe Crunchyroll continuing the adaptation that they got for the Ice Queendom. I think that I think that's more viable for a fan to look forward to if they want to rewatch the volumes, because I don't see it being that difficult for them to license out RWBY for other like streaming services. I could definitely see like something like maybe Netflix having a small deal with that, or even like maybe, I don't know, there's so many streaming platforms these days. Since they already got the volumes on Amazon, I don't see a problem with that either. But that's probably more realistic to look forward to within the coming year than it would be anything brand new, like Volume 10, any spin-off series, things like that. That's going to take time, because when you asked about the team from RWBY being brought over, the only person they confirmed was the co-creator, Carrie Shawcross. And because of that, they probably didn't want to say if they were going to be letting anyone go or not bringing over anyone team, because of course that could cause some controversy right there and then. Because anytime anyone hears that an animator or someone is being let go from their job, especially having such a long period of job working on that, people tend to get upset, and with kind of good reason, right? You don't want to know that someone you loved from a series, that either they were a voice, writer, like producer, anything like that, was let go because merely transferring, management. But that's to be understood in the world of business. Animation, much like anything else, is part of business. And because they've moved over to a new company, layoffs / replacements are to be expected. But yeah, so for now, it looks like RWBY is going to be sticking around much longer than I figured. I honestly thought when Rooster Teeth was closing its doors and WB Discovery couldn't figure out what to do with it, it was just going to be done. Like, I didn't think RWBY had not a snowball's chance, but I just didn't have much faith in it. Lord knows I've been proven wrong yet again. But yeah, that's basically what I got for you. This is going to be a quick video just to talk about the show's possible future in the industry. I haven't seen anything past Volume 1 of RWBY. I wasn't the biggest fan of the initial, what I initially watched, but I'm more than willing to give it another shot to rewatch it and see what I think about it, especially since this main channel's focus is going to be on reviewing, critiquing, and analyzing story structure, characters. Those are things I'm very much invested in and I love talking about, especially in the realms of anime and movies. So this channel's main focus is going on that. Side things that I'm going to be focusing on are going to be covering news and media, whether that be in the anime industry, the gaming industry, or just YouTube in general, in that kind of sphere, because I consider YouTube to be just as big as an anime as a entertainment industry as anything else at this point in time. But I appreciate anyone who did listen, who watched it and liked this video. I hope you guys liked hearing my small little commentary on this. And if you did, drop a like, that'd be nice. Comment letting me know how I did, give me some feedback, how I can improve, what I could do better. Anything like that would help out to grow this channel. I really want to do this like, as because it's just a fun experience. I love talking about this stuff. I love talking with it about in communities, and I love discussing the intricacies of the industry of, like I said, gaming, and the anime industry, the gaming industry, and so on and so forth. Especially when it comes to talking about story structure, characters, all that stuff. That is very important to me, and very something I'm deeply involved in. I really love. So that'd be great. Thank you so much, guys. And as always, if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.